Happy screen time and thank you for subscribing for Daily Pokemon Sleep Row Tomfoolery. It's the Old Gold Power Plant debut, and today we are debuting some numbers, specifically the number of coffee beans that our Grubbin can find at level 30 if it's a Grubbin, Chargabug, or a Vikavolt. I'm going to take you into the RaenonX tool and explain how I conduct analysis on coffee production, what I'm considering, what I'm not considering, and hopefully you'll learn a thing or two about how to assess ingredient Pokemon in this game. Or you'll at least learn about how I do it, which has so far allowed me to be successful in this game, but I am just an average player like you. I've just been figuring some stuff out. And I think at the end of this video we'll need to give this Grubbin a nickname. Let me tell you about the work I'm doing in RaenonX that I'm not going to show you, because as boring as it might be watching me play Pokemon Sleep, it would be even more boring to watch me set all of this up in RaenonX. So we enter Grubbin into RaenonX as is. Then I'm going to use the duplicate feature in the Pokemon box and create a version of that Grubbin that's evolved into Chargabug. Then I'm going to duplicate again and create a version for Vikavolt. Then I'm going to duplicate each of those one time, but this time I'm going to simulate adding a Subskill seed at level 25. Our Grub friend has Helping Speed S at level 25, and we'd like to know if it's worth giving him a Subskill seed or not. All of that said, what you won't see in this video is me actually making the investment in that Grubbin. We might catch another 1 or 2 or 3 before the event ends, and I may use some of the Grubbin incenses we got in the event next week. And if we happen to find a really long-term great one, we are going to want to invest in that. But assuming we don't, when we get to the point where we need coffee, this Grubbin is going to be great. I can feel it in my grub bones. So let's jump into RaenonX. Cue that music. Would you like it if I did the entire analysis talking like this? Let me know in the comments, maybe we'll do it one day. But not today. We are starting our analysis with Grubbin and everything configured at level 14. As you can see, we're using an interesting naming convention here. 1 is our ingredient up nature but otherwise neutral Grubbin we got the other day, and 4 is yesterday's Grabonzo bean. The number of E's simulates how many times it was evolved, and the S shows the silver seed, which I like to call subseed, and I'm just going to do that from now on. As you can see, our new Grubbin is definitely better than the old one, by about 3 coffee per day. I'm not going to go to the trouble of configuring them all to be level 15, since it is level 14 now, but that is the earliest level that we could have a Vikavolt, because the level requirement is needed for Chargabug, but not for Vikavolt. That said, this is basically an estimate of what our level 15 production would look like. Basically, 16 for Grubbin, 24 for Chargabug, and 35 for Vikavolt. Now, we're going to be throwing out a lot of numbers, so don't expect to remember this. We're going to assume that we're going to have at least a Chargabug, but we'll be paying attention to only Chargabug and Vikavolt from here on out. We also want to decide if it would be worth a Thunderstone investment. So at level 25, that Helping Speed kicks in, and we start to see the discrepancy from the Subseed. At level 25, that Subseed doesn't make a big difference for Chargabug, and it makes a little bit more of a difference for Vikavolt, about 3 coffee per day. But I anticipate that as we take this up to level 30, we're going to see that that Subseed matters a lot more. And the whole point of catching this one would be to take it to level 30. Why would we leave that coffee just sitting there? Our highly upgraded Vikavolt is jumping by 28 coffee per day. At this level, the Subseed is worth about 4 coffee to us per day, and we're seeing a lot of other Pokemon have entered the chat. We have left our simulated Agrons in here for reference, but there's no way they're going to compete with the Vikavolts. Something to point out here is that Chargabug without a Subskill seed just barely outproduces the level 25 fully upgraded Vikavolt. We can also see that at level 30 we start to get a huge disparity between these evolutions because of the speed. I also have in the back of my mind that even if we find a great Grubbin in the future with triple coffee, a master of mono, a Java Sola, it is pretty unlikely that we're going to get Ingredient Finder M and Helping Speed as the first 2 subskills, and also with a complementary nature. This is basically the ultimate level 30 Vikavolt. All of this to say that even if we find a better long-term one, this guy might still be outproducing that one until that one reaches level 60, at which point a mono one would definitely jump this. So we're going to be looking for a pretty freaking good mono one. We can set our standards very high. Now, at level 50, this Grubbin has Energy Recovery bonus, which is neutral as far as ingredients is concerned. So I'd like to show you why we don't care to take this to level 50. In 20 levels, our best Vikavolt option only increases by 7 coffee per day, and everything else increases by less than 7. If level 50 was another Ingredient Finder, or Helping Bonus or Helping Speed, we might have considered this, especially especially if it was taking us a long time to find our perfect Vikavolt. But that's a lot of investment for basically no gain. And if that level 50 thing just made you feel depressed, you're going to want to close your eyes for level 60. The third ingredient being mushrooms means that we get even less coffee production at level 60 than what we were getting before. It becomes just barely better at producing coffee than if we had just left it as that level 30 Grubbin. And maybe there are some people out here who would value those mushrooms, but not this guy. Let's add mushrooms into the mix and explain why. And this is exactly the reason why you have to look at your entire ingredient economy every time you're checking on an ingredient specialist. As you can see, this Gengar at level 60 will produce 81 mushrooms in a day. The most mushrooms you could need in the game right now is 69 in a day. And this Gengar is already up to level 47. We've been working our way to 60 with him this whole time. So a third ingredient coffee slot is the only way that this guy would make it past 30. There's no reason to take it to 50. And now the question is the sub seed worth it? And is the Thunderstone worth it? Well, conveniently, and without planning for this at all, I decided not to evolve a Pikachu into Raichu a week and a half ago. So I actually still have one of my Thunderstones sitting around. So it actually doesn't cost me any more to get a Vikavolt right now. It's just gonna cost me more if I do find a better Grubbin later, or if I find a great Pikachu later. Which, if I find a Pikachu that's better than the ones I have, I'm gonna be more than willing to drop the points to buy that Thunderstone. So I feel pretty good about going for the Vikavolt. The real question is whether I want 66 or 70 coffee in a day. And there's two things that we need to consider here. We are finally going to talk about how much coffee do we actually need. If you wanted to make Defiant coffee dress salad every day for every meal, you would need 84 coffee per day. Not to mention the insane amount of other ingredients and the expanded pot to make this dish. Realistically, I'm not going to be making this dish 3 times a day anytime soon. Let's say we have a big day ahead of us and we want to make it twice in a day. Well, there's no other salad recipe that requires coffee, so that puts our max at 54. On a non-salad week, the most that we would need in a day is 48. So 48 and 54, those are the target numbers to look at. Well, we can hit that without using the subseed, so I'll probably hold for now. Basically what this comes down to is I might have to wait a little longer to make a dish, because generally speaking, you want to get those ingredient Pokemon off of your team. He's not there to contribute the strength for berries or to trigger his main skill. He's on the team specifically for coffee. And I'll know if I made a mistake or not if one day I'm sitting there like, man, I need 4 coffee right now. I wish I had this. But we might also have some supplementary coffee from Vaporeon, and RNG might be nice to us for a day. Because after all, this is just representing the average production. In theory, you could get higher or lower than the numbers on RaenonX. And also it's worth noting that I am probably not going to be cooking the same meal 3 times a day. Just want to be ready to in case that's what I want to do. So let's say Vikavolt level 30 is the goal, no silver seed, and we should be good to go on coffee for a long time, even if we don't find a long-term guy. But what if session 443 has that long-term guy? This is what your sleep looks like when you put your phone to bed and then stay up to do a software release. And this is what your video sounds like when you're really tired. I'm guessing we won't see a Grubbin with that slumbering sleep, but technically it can happen because we're in a pseudo-balanced for the event. And for any players who don't know, pseudo-balanced means that Pokemon from all sleep styles show up, not just from the one that you got. But it's also not a straight up balanced sleep. Alright, we've got a top belly Aron, and I know that means we're getting some dream shards today. We've also got 2 Pichus, 2 Mareep, a Caterpie, a Geodude, and a Drifloon. Busy day over here, I guess. Pichu and Mareep should be embarrassed at the number of dream shards that they just put up. Those two on the screen had like 73 dream shards between the two of them. Meanwhile, Aron's up there with 7,800. And we got a hungry Caterpie, and a hungry Mareep, and a hungry Aron. Alright, sweet. And I'm gonna justify making bad choices because I'm really tired when I woke up this morning. I'm going on limited sleep, and right now I'm considering if I drop a Pokebiscuit on each of these hungry Pokemon and one of them mega hits, then the game can choose which pun we're gonna make later. So I started with my premium biscuit on Pikachu, and of course I know that's a Pichu, but I'm not gonna re-record that because I have to stall for time while I buy all these biscuits. These are the things that I worry about. I don't want you to get bored at this point in the video. Alright, time to gamble on some mega hits. You ready? We're gonna start with Mareep. Pokebiscuit number 1 is a expected big hit. Alright, let's jump over to the Aron next, as if we haven't had enough Aron puns lately. Will we get a mega hit? And you thought the other screens were really slow? Nope, we didn't. Alright, Caterpie, if we can hurry this along, we can find out if you're gonna mega hit as well. Back when I was playing this game as a free-to-play player, my strategy was basically to only feed Pokemon when they were hungry, and then I would just take what the game gave me. Oh, he didn't mega hit! Woohoo, I guess we're just gonna make a Pichu pun, as we're gonna go right back around in the circle again. Anyway, I think one of the hardest things as a free-to-play player is knowing when to hold and when to fold. And for some reason, seeing 3 hungry Pokemon today just made me want to feed them all. And we're gonna go for the Mareep as well, because there are 2 of them on the field, so we should be able to take one home. And then we're gonna gamble our biscuits on Aron as well, at the risk of him getting all full, but because we want him. But sorry, Caterpie, we don't care enough about you to gamble. I really wish Pichu had been hungry. I would love to get into a dilemma about where to use my Thunderstone. And now, since I've told you what's about to happen on the main stage, we're gonna take you to the side stage. Over to Grubbin for a special ceremony. Grubbin, thank you for being elite. We bestow upon you a name, and the name by which you shall be known is Rory. Now, this is a layered name meaning, and I'll challenge anybody in the comments to try to figure this one out. But I'll give you a hint. I decided on this name because we caught that Grubbin on the day that this channel officially reached 100 subscribers. Thank you so much for being one of them. It has been really awesome bringing you this Pokemon Sleep content, and although I don't say it as often, I'm still definitely open for feedback about what you guys are and are not liking about this channel. I hope we have a good balance of tomfoolery and actually helpful information, but I feel honored that 100 of you have taken the 3 seconds out of your life to scroll down and hit the subscribe button at some point, but then that many of you do continue to come back every day and support the channel. Thank you for the viewing the videos, thank you for the likes, thank you so much for the comments. It's great to get to know you guys, and it's been a real privilege taking this dive into YouTube content creation. And as I go back and reflect on my early videos, I think we've come a long way. Now things are just peachy. It is also not lost on me that you're taking valuable time from your days every day to come and patronize the channel. So I usually try not to have videos be this long. Let's look at some of these Pokemon real quick, because if you hung on this long, you gotta know if any of this is good. We've got a discount Mareep in the building. Show me some skill trigger. And the only way that you're gonna be better than what I have is if you have a skill trigger in nature, and you don't. So sorry, Mareep, you are not gonna be better than what we already have, but I am too afraid to send you away at the moment to verify that. Although for Pichu, we do know what we're looking for, and we are hyper aware of what we have. Oh, I like to see that helping bonus. Give us a berry finding S, man. Nope. Don't even really care what's left. Even a great nature won't save you from going straight to Neroli. Oh, and you don't even want to grow up. Alright. Peach yogurt joke. Devin sucks, but everyone seems to love him. Inside jokes for the longtime viewers. 3 meat tree! There is no way that we're doing great ingredient Pokemon on back-to-back days. There's no way. And we already know that your skill level up S. Oh my gosh, we just gotta see this. If you show me ingredient finder in the 50 slot, I'm going to... Oh my gosh, you didn't. I was going to say, I'm gonna make you mine forever. Now you're just gonna be one of those Pokemon that were like, oh, this will be so great at 75. Well, at least this guy does want to grow up. We probably won't do a video on this guy, but I'm also not gonna take him to RaenonX right now. So the next time you see 3 meat sausage Aron in the video title, just know that we decided this guy was worth it, because we'll make a whole other video about it and you can save 10 minutes of your life on the next one. But let's do this again sometime. Happy researching.